Hello, welcome to another episode of Learning sCrypt tutorials. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to call one contract from another. Again, we are starting from sCrypt homepage at sCrypt.io. So from there, we can click documentation, which leads us to the language specification here. Then under language spec, we click standard contracts. So as one's contract, sCrypt contract grows in size and complexity, it's usually a good idea to break up a monolithic contract into multiple smaller pieces. This has many benefits, like in many other languages. For example, it's easier to reuse same piece of code. Also, it's much easier to maintain. So, for example, you can see here, in one example I show here, so you will have three contracts. We can say hash puzzle, pay to public key. It doesn't matter what this is. So basically, this is the last contract. They want to call the contract methods in the previous two contracts. So they can do this in this context. So basically, you have, as I mentioned before, a contract is very similar to a class in object-oriented programming languages. So again, so if you want to call a method in hash puzzle, you just say new, and then you provide the constructor parameters. And once you can get the contract instance, you can call it with a dot notation. In a lot of other object-oriented programming languages, you can call the function of spend here, because if you, as we recall, public function implicitly return Boolean type, so that's why you can put it in a require statement in this way. Same for the pay to public key hash. You can create a new instance by using the new notation, and then afterwards you can call it a public function. So a lot of times we find ourselves calling into other contract, and this contract may only act as a dependency, and they are not supposed to be deployed immediately, directly. So that's why we introduced the concept of a library. So what is a library in sCrypt? So it's almost the same as a sCrypt contract, except one difference. Basically, a library cannot contain any public function. So basically, it cannot be directly deployed and called outside of the blockchain. That means it can only act as a dependency that can be called by either libraries or contract. For this, in this case, right, we have a util library, so you can see it contains some properties and some function. You cannot deploy this, but this one can be called from either library or contract. So lastly, we introduce this keyword called import. So what does it do? As in many other languages, when you try to include or import some dependency file, usually it's not in the same file, right? So as in our previous example, we can, instead of storing all three contracts in the same file, we can store each contract in one single file. And then from the last contract, we can import the previous two, and then we can use it as if they are in the same contract file. So you could either import it through a relative path, as we showed here, or you can import using absolute path as well. All right, I hope this is helpful, and I will see you next time. Thank you.